Hi everyone, and welcome back to RagTech, where we dive into real-life topics in tech. Today, we're excited to introduce a brand new type of episode we're calling Tech Tutoring. In this series, we'll tackle LeetCode problems, the kinds of coding challenges software engineers often face in technical interviews. But don't worry, this isn't just for engineers. These problems are like brain teasers, perfect for anyone curious about the problem-solving side of tech. For this first episode, we've chosen a classic LeetCode question, container with the most water. It's an approachable problem that's great for beginners, but still highlights the strategies engineers use every day. Plus, it's a fun way to explore algorithms without getting too deep into complex math. Whether you're prepping for interviews, learning something new, or just here for the ride, we hope you enjoy this special episode. Let's jump in.
My name is Victoria. I'm a solutions engineer.
I'm Saloni, a software engineer.
And today we'll be doing a new type of content where we're actually gonna have Saloni explain a LeetCode question and teach it to me. So without further ado, Saloni.
So today's question is going to be, it's on LeetCode, and this is container with most water. So very simply explained that we have like a bar graph, and we want to find what is the largest area between two bars. And that's the problem. And there are like practical applications of such problems. You can think of like in networking, there are different nodes which are different routers in place. And between these nodes, there is a cost to connect to the next node. So we can think of the cost as the height. And therefore, you want to get like the minimum cost or the maximum cost. So that's one application of such. Without further ado, this is how I would go about like solving this question. We see that we have integer array of the height, and we want to return integer, which is the maximum amount of water. And maximum amount of water would be height times the width.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at an example here. I usually use comments. So I use this to comment. And now we have this. So these are the heights. At first glance, you know that you have to choose two bars. So in between the two bars, that's the array. It seems quite obvious to start with two pointers, like one at the starting and one at the end. So one over here. Using the first, okay, I like that they have this example, this image here. So using this 1 and this 7, to calculate the area between these two, it would be the array index here minus the array index here, which will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times 1 only, and 1 because it is the minimum of the two lengths, right? So that's how you calculate the area. The minimum bar times the distance between the two indexes. So that sounds good. Yeah. So now if we have these two array pointers, the first one and the last one, we just calculate the current area, maybe. So that would be 1 times 8. I calculated 8, right? Just now?
Yep.
Yeah, so 1 times 8. So that is 8. So currently the maximum is also 8. So we just also store the max, which is also 8. And then we will we should move the one which is lower. So since the first one is lower, we move this one.
Because you want to find the max area, right?
Yeah, so we move the one which is lower.
Yeah.
So in this case, now we have 8. So now the current area becomes 8 and 7. 7 is lower. So 7 times the distance between 8, the index of 8 and 7 is 7 because it is minus 1 from the previous. So now it is 49. Okay, so that's definitely the max area now. I'll replace the max area. Then now, because 7 is lower, I will bring this one down. So between 8 and 3, it would be 3 is the height. So 3 times 6 this time. So 18 is still lower than the max area. It doesn't change.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep doing this in that particular manner, and the max area is your answer.
Yeah.
Sounds good?
That would be the brute force way, right?
Like that, when I first look at this question, that's the thing that comes to my mind. And I feel it's not that bad because I actually just went through the array one time, ON complexity as well. So I'll start implementing this.
Let's go.
Okay, so we can start with initializing some of our variables. So we have the integer current area. So this is Java. We have to put a semicolon behind. So if not, it's a syntax error. So this is how it is. Nowadays I'm using JavaScript at work, so bear with me. And then I also need like a left and right pointer. So I'll just call it left and right. And the left is index 0 and the right is index height. Height array is length, I think.
Yeah, -1.
-1. So then while we have left is always less than the right, because once it's equal, you have finished all your combinations already.
Right.
So the while left is less than right, I would start getting, I need another pointer for the actual indexes. So let's just call it INJ, if you don't mind my lack of variable. So height of left and J would be height of right. And with that, we now do our calculation. We want to find which is the minimum index, which is, there's this math.min that we can use, I and J. And then we calculate the current area. Actually, even though I put the current area there, it's just within this. So we actually don't need this.
Right.
So integer current area would just be minimum times the index difference.
Right.
And index in this case is left and right.
Yep.
Which is just right minus left because right is more than left.
Yep.
So that is the current area, and then we do a simple if current area is more than max area, we replace the max area. Max area equals to current area. There's some noise in the background.
It's okay. We have mics.
I guess yes. So that's the gist of it. And if I just go through this, then I also need to move the one that is lower for the next iteration. So how do I decide which one I move is if the right, looking back at my example, I moved 7 7 is smaller than 8. So that means I and J. So if I is actually we already have the minimum. If minimum is I, then you do I plus plus. Else I don't know if, no, this is with JavaScript, so I'll have to put this here. Then else if. You see, as software developers, we always get confused with two different programming languages if that's what is happening at work. But no, nothing to worry. Not I plus plus, but actually it's a left plus plus.
Yeah, the pointer. Yeah.
The index itself.
The index. Yeah.
That's why namings are important. If I had named it left index, right index makes more sense. And then return statement would be here. Return max area. I think it looks good. Should we go through it? Should we just run it because it's LeetCode and we are not in an actual interview?
Okay, let's just keep it casual. Let's just run it and see.
And hopefully,
I think what you say makes sense. Okay.
Yep, because this is a pretty easy solution, and we did run it before.
Yeah. That's why I think with all LeetCode questions, that's how we should do it. We should not just rush into like writing the code.
Yeah,
we should think through it.
Validate your solutioning once,
like
and
talk
this
through the process.
I also think this also helped the interviewer or the other person to understand what I was gonna do next.
I definitely understand like your code and how you implement it because I heard your thought process before. So it makes it more structured, easy for me to follow as well if I were the interviewer. And I also can see how you thought through step by step, right? Wow, so thank you so much, Sloni, for explaining. And I like how you particularly relate a LeetCode question to like an application in real world, because I think a lot of LeetCode questions, they're quite abstract and it'll make you feel kind of like, why do I need this? Why do I need to solve this?
There was more motivation after I found out that it makes sense to solve this question.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I hope this was a helpful episode.
Yeah. And if you like such episodes, do comment. Let us know what you liked it, what you like about this, and if you have special questions that you would like us to answer as well, we will get the challenge, get on the challenge. And yeah, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Please follow and subscribe to RegTech. Bye.
Bye.